So our next presenter hails from Turkey originally. Her name's Merve of Meta Ventures. When we're looking at all the things she's done, it was quite remarkable. In fact, for the past 15 years, she deployed capital over $1 billion in amount. Now, she's been skiing across 4 different continents. In fact, she invested in 4 different continents. And there's a little random fact I figured out about her. She's very crazy about chocolate. So dear founders, if you want to get a meeting with this early stage fund, do what I am just doing, and that is blinds her with a chocolate bar. Please welcome on stage Merve of Meta Ventures. Very good. This is for you. You can put it away. Very good.
I'll just share.
You can save it for later, but this is your clicker. This is your weapon of choice.
I'll just put it here.
And
Clearly a conflict of interest here.
Obviously, I'm very biased now. I cannot ask anything mean. Anything, let's do it. Uno, dos, tres.
I'm biased now because of the chocolate. Well, anyhow, thank you. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the opportunity. Latitude team. Meta Venture is our 4th fund, and we invest in sustainable future within people, businesses, and the planet. And I think I'm right. I'm an engineer turned into operator and investor. As Gleb mentioned, I have deployed over $1 billion worth of private capital. I started investing back in 2008 in emerging Europe, and then I moved to US and started investing tech there. This is back in 2012. Then came back here. Again, we have been investing since 2018 into tech companies in this region. And our platform is, when we were building out our platform, we knew one thing. If you're in early stage, you have to be a founder-centric platform. So that's how we built it. Our platform encompasses 3 main verticals. Metis X, this is our own data-driven software platform, which helps us identify the best talent, best team. And in return, it also helps our portfolio companies identify the best talent so that they can make the almost right hires. And Metis Surge is our platform where we encompass a wide venture partner network in the US and in the UK, which helps our portfolio companies to bring in the industry know-how to make their first sales or make their first hires again in their target markets. And Metis Syndicate is our platform arm, which helps us match make our portfolio with the right investors in their target markets. And so far, what we have done across 3 funds, we have invested over 55 companies, and it's been a pretty international ride. Our portfolio companies are active in more than 26 countries, and 90% of the revenues are generated overseas, outside of their local markets. And I'm very proud to say that 50% of our portfolio passes female 2x criteria, which means there's high female participation both at the board level and the operating level. I'm going to skip this because I have been seeing Gleb. So we invest with the best. So far, across 56 portfolio companies, we invested more than 100 funds, and these have been most of them are top-tier funds across the globe. And we have a pretty diverse team. 11 people, 6 of us are working on investments.
And
the rest
thank
of the
you
team
very much, ladies and gentlemen. Hand of applause, please. All right. Please, please, please.
I can at least say that. Please do reach out.
Please reach out. That's your call to action, ladies and gentlemen. So I remind you, there's a QR code that's going to be available to you you can evaluate the person in real time while we're asking the questions, you're getting more input. We got to be a little more firm with the time, ladies and gentlemen. The same we treat the pitches, the same we treat the VCs.
Well, she won the bullshit bingo. She was the first one to say founder-centric.
Founder-centric? Okay, you got a little game there going on.
Founder-centric, 10 points for bullshit.
Okay, can I interrupt? May I? Maybe this is BS because you don't know us and you call us BS right away.
You don't even know them.
That's true. The problem is that when I hear every other VC in the industry saying founder-friendly or founder-centric, that makes me a little bit suspicious. Gleb, what do we think about slides that are in 12-point type and can't read?
It's a little overwhelming, right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to call it out. It happens to be a pet peeve. It's a little hard to follow. But let's bring this out a little bit. Right, so just to be favorable here, let's say you're truly founder-centric, quote.
We have to be. I think there's no other way. That's why I don't see it.
But could you give us an example where your approach with specific portfolio company really exemplified founder-centric.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a school of data-driven VC where you do automated screening and you're just the data point. We talked about this in a call a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And so can you give us an example so that people here could really relate, understand that you actually
I'm willing to turn around the opinion, just put some meat on these bones.
Oh, of course. Thank you. And happy to do so. We are not data-driven only. We are using data to reach out to founders. But then our team, we try to understand the people, the motivations, their aspiration, right? So it's that data-driven component is just a tool. Instead of LinkedIn, we use our own tool, so we are more efficient, essentially. And we have more time to help on our portfolio. And in terms of founder-centric, the way that we help, like one example is a company of ours, local Turkish company, they wanted to go abroad. Their product was good enough, but they didn't know how, which market, etc. So we brought on the right venture partner. He then became a co-founder in the business, helped them move to the UK, helped them understand what the customer needs in that market, etc. And then we made right introductions to the right investors. So now they are backed by other top-tier investors. So I think as a VC firm that's in the early stage, investing more than 10 portfolio companies per fund, that's the most you can do. And the way that we do it through our ecosystem of venture partners and through our ecosystem.
I wanted to, so during our pre-call, put a bookmark if I may, but very quickly. So I've been listening to this analogy recently where it's a donut company. Okay. Donut companies where you walk in, they serve you donuts, you hang out, you eat the donuts, you leave, and you don't need to do much as a VC. Where there's basically a very low intervention approach, and the VC doesn't do much because sometimes they can actually do more harm than good. So one thing I want to contrast, what kind of VC are you? Are you a believer in putting a lot of impact in the company, getting super hands-on, or you more lean towards hands-off approach because you think the founder should run the show and you can do very little value besides providing capital? Think of it as a spectrum. Where do you lie here?
That's a very good question and good point too. We are trying to be on demand, right? We are there whenever it's needed. We try to be an open book to our founders and ask them questions, and we do periodical checks with them and calls with them and understand what they need when they need it, and try to help them there.
Do you have doubts, interests, something you want to expand on while I'm scrying through the audience questions? With quite a few, by the way. Keep them going, which is very fascinating.
You mentioned that you try to find out the founder motivations and aspirations. How do you do that? And do you have a special way to find that out? What's your method, sort of, finding that out?
Just being people. We just try to understand the person. I try to understand you now. You try to understand us now. Understand me now. So we just try to understand what they have done before, what was their decision-making process looked like in their previous endeavors or in their current endeavors. What does the team composition look like? How do they complement each other? Because the balances are really important, both in the skill set and in the human element as well. Like one person can be a bit aggressive, the other can, kind of more calm and, be a balancing component. So we are just trying to understand the human component. And I don't think there's a way or methodology to do that. It's just spending time with the founders, understanding them.
That's what I was trying to understand. I mean, obviously you've been super successful, 6-year-old fund, 3 exits, you're
4-year-old fund, yeah.
4-year-old fund, 3 exits, raised a lot of money. So all good signs, but just like in a startup pitch competition, you have to rank someone, right? So how do you decide who's better? So far, everything you've told me, like, hey, you have to meet with people, you have to talk to them. I don't know of a single VC that doesn't meet with people.
There are some who just
doesn't talk to them. I mean, they just like randomly pick. I mean, it just sounds to me like you're doing all the right things, but is there something that is truly different about you? I don't know, the M&A stuff, or is there something where your unique value proposition for your fund?
So I think there are two questions in that statement. One of them is what we bring as as a VC firm to the portfolio companies. I'll answer that later. But in terms of how we decide in our investment making process, it's first of all, it's a combination of everything, right? You have to look at the entrepreneur, the founding team. You have to look at the target market. The product might not be there, but we still need to understand what's the market that they are trying to conquer, what's the market potential, team prospects, what can we bring as a value-added firm. Those are all combinations, and there's no straight answer of how you make a decision. We do have a system, and we do have a understanding of what are the potential upsides, what are the potential risks, and try to understand what's the expected value, and listen to our gut feeling because we are early stage investors, and move forward.
Okay, last question, if I could. The worst piece of advice you've given a founder?
We push them to lend and expand to... actually, I think it was a bad investment decision on our end. So we gave the founder a good advice, but the founder wasn't able to execute it, and then it just failed. So we pushed them, I think, to go out of their comfort zone, but the founder wasn't there to go above and beyond. So.
And the last one to build from the audience: what advice will you give to female founders to build on this?
Be persistent.
All right, we'll take that. Ladies and gentlemen, please, warm hand of applause for Merve of Metis Ventures.
Thank you. And
Merve,
thank you for the chocolate.
Chocolate is for you, clicker is for us.
Thank you.
You've been a very good sport. Teşekkür. Thank you very much.